So my role in the Carpenter Agriculture Group is as operations manager. So I look after the farms and stations within the group, and together with the farm managers, manage those properties and deliver the weaners through to our integrated production system at Joanna Plains. So we deliver the wean calves into the backgrounding and feedlot operations there. So essentially we're cow-calf breeder units on the properties, and today we're at Emu Downs, which is near Badgingarra in Western Australia, and we're having a look at some of the perennial pasture paddocks that we've established here on Emu Downs using LawrieCo products. Well, the normal annual pasture, we've got two production systems here on Emu Downs. One is a perennial pasture based system, and the other one is a traditional annual pasture based and cereal based systems, and with some grazing cereals as well. So down here on this section of the property, we've got these sort of low-lying sand over clay flats that go out into some really waterlogged type areas on the natural course of the water through the drainage lines of this paddock. And traditionally these have been problem areas for us in terms of their ability to grow annual pasture. And I don't know, you're a bit into the sun there, but if you look over on the other side of the laneway, there is the same soil types, but you know, that's the annual pasture production system over there, that at this time of the year is traditionally giving us you know, very little feed, and through the winter, you know, when it gets very wet, you know, the feed production of those areas is not what we want it to be. So this is what we've traditionally been presented with on a lot of the pastures in this area. Yes, you can manipulate them and regenerate the annual pasture production system on these areas, but it's, you know, they always relapse back into the same old pasture phase. Okay,
we can see how much root matter we haven't got, unfortunately, and the outcome of that is that we are able to grow some pasture when we get the rainfall in a very limited and got very limited access to nutrients. It looks like it's about 50-60 millimeters total depth of accessing moisture and nutrients. So it's pleasing to see the variation of what can be achieved and has been achieved on this property, and compare it to the traditional practice in this pasture.
No, I was just saying that's pretty pathetic. If you look at that compared to what we were doing over there, it's just chalk and cheese, isn't it?
So it's easy to see when you compare pastures with a shovel how you can carry many more cattle where we get the better root establishment.
Traditionally, over the years, you know, there's been a lot of fertiliser applied to these paddocks that we believe isn't being utilised by the shallow-rooted annual pastures. So what we've done here is we've established this paddock with perennial grasses, and we've got two areas in this paddock here. There's one area up there which is more on a sort of sandy ridge, and it is sand over clay, but the sand is fairly deep, and there's some non-wetting areas up there. Those steel pickets denote the division between the two areas, and down on this side where we're standing now is the more sort of waterlogged, low-lying areas. So what we've done here is we've put in raised beds, so it's deep ripped and then formed up the raised beds to try and get the plants out of that very waterlogged area. But traditionally, I guess the thing for us that we've done here is we've dropped the traditional fertiliser application rate by half. So we've used 50 kgs as opposed to 100 on establishment, and then added in the humates in with the fertiliser, and then all the seed was also dressed with the LawrieCo VAM product. So that's what we've done across both seed types and both soil types, and you know, we've got a really sensational result here. Yeah, Adrian, I think you know, Craig identified that the establishment of the crop was, of the pasture, was so key to its success and its survival over that long dry summer. And I was saying that you know, Craig and his guys did a really good job on the establishment phase. Their depth control on the pasture and their attention to detail at that establishment phase was spot on. So that, you know, that plays a key part in getting it right. The window of opportunity is very small. So, you know, to get it right is absolutely crucial. Using the products we've used is you know, certainly one part of it, but getting it right at the time is very important.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with it. Yeah, the actual establishment of it was unreal. The way, you know, you had sort of minimal rain on it to establish it, and the roots and everything got down, and you know, it kept it going over that dry period. It was just, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it sort of didn't really look back, did it? Like, it just...
No, it sort of...
kept going.
I can't remember now, it's written on that sheet, but to have that, I think it only had 44 mil of rain, but the first rain after it was planted wasn't until about 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
For it to get down and get going was unreal.
Yeah.
So was there sufficient rain when you sowed it to germinate it at the time, or did it germinate 3 weeks later?
Most of the germination happened later. What happened is, because we worked the paddock and mounded it, the actual beds themselves on top, where the seed was sitting, was actually reasonably dry at that stage. So it was just surprising that when we did get the rain, it did establish so well and so quickly.
And obviously we're going to manage this perennial pasture into the future. This is its first year in production. It was established in September last year. And I guess one of the key observations for us is that how quickly these plants got their root systems up and travelling and down into the moisture profile. So it went nearly 4 months with no rain, and it very hot, you know, during the summer of last year. So, and all the plants survived, and I think it was their ability to get their root systems going so quickly and down into the moisture that was down in the in the subsoil levels of this paddock that's allowed it to survive. And then once the rain did come, you know, the plants were so vigorous, they've just got up and travelling, you know, really well.
I think the water use is the key to all agriculture. I think, you know, the most important thing is, you know, how much water we use to turn off a kilo of beef. I think in the situation here is that we've got very good water usage over in this paddock, which is going to turn off the kilos of beef, compared to the paddock on the other side where we're not utilising our water. And I think our, you know, per kilo of beef turned off from there is going to be massive for our water usage compared to a paddock there where our water's basically running off, not being utilised. That's the key to agriculture, is utilising your available water.